Hi, welcome to another of Sammy P's Tech Reviews. Today I'm reviewing a product that I'm pretty excited about. It is a Andoer 4K camcorder. If you saw my last review on the Sony a6000 mirrorless camera, you would have seen that when I reviewed it, I noticed that the video capability was not that great due to primarily the audio functionality of that. So I'm quite excited because hopefully this product will actually improve the quality of my videos on YouTube. So I'm going to review it, completely brand new, has not even been opened, so I'm going to start by unboxing it. Here we have some sort of a cable, which I don't know what that is yet. Manuals. Another cable, which I think is probably for the microphone. Probably the charging cable. The microphone unit. And finally, the camcorder. And it comes in a nice little carry bag. It's quite compact. Alright, a quick overview of the camera. It's a 4K camera, like I mentioned before. Has the ability to do night mode, has Wi-Fi capability, and it's got a max shooting capacity at 48 megapixels, which is pretty good. So let's just go over the features now. Alright, the first thing we'll do is actually attach the microphone. So there's a shoe here where you can just mount the microphone actually in both directions, so both forward and rear facing. And all you have to do is basically screw and unscrew the little attachment to tighten it. The next thing is the battery, which is actually removable. There's a lever just underneath the camera. The problem is the battery doesn't go in very smoothly, so it may take you a couple of attempts to get it in there. So under the battery is the SD card slot. Just like the Sony a6000, I'd recommend a minimum of a 64 gig SD card with a minimum speed class of 10. Alright, so let's just test out some of the different modes and play around with some of the buttons. As you can see, when you hit the menu button, different modes come up. You can change the resolution, you can change different settings. So like most camcorders, you can actually flip the screen all the way around. So if you're standing in front of the camera, you can flip it around so you can see yourself, or you can have it the other way. The zoom in and out button is just at the top, so it's very easy to actually use, so it says left and right. The record button is basically where your right thumb would be when you're holding the camcorder. So on the face we have all the main buttons, and I believe it's a micro or mini SD slot for extra storage. And if we open this section, we find the microphone jack, the charging jack, and I think it's a mini HDMI jack as well. That must have been the other cable that I was unsure about before. So let's connect the microphone. It's pretty simple to connect. The only downside is the wires kind of hang out a little bit, which I find a bit annoying, but I guess it's each to their own really. And that in essence is the Andoer 4K camera. Before I do my review, I just want to quickly show you a few videos that I've taken. This is the Andoer 4K camera, recording at 4K resolution. Testing out the night vision function. So over to my review. I'm going to go through my top 3 pros and cons of the Andoer 4K camcorder. The first pro is that this camera is very affordable. It retails for under 200 Australian dollars and 150 US dollars with the microphones, which in my opinion is very good for the features that you're getting. Talking about features, this camcorder has pretty much all the features that you would want in a camcorder. It has 4K recording, it has the provision for external mic and also a wider angle lens. It has Wi-Fi connectivity and all the other things that you would want in a camcorder. The last pro that I want to mention is that this camera has an excellent microphone. Now, having a external microphone was one of the main reasons I actually moved away from the Sony a6000 as a video camera, because I felt that the audio quality is really bad. But with this camera, the external microphone is fantastic. Now over to the cons. In my opinion, this camera has a pretty poor build quality. A lot of the camera is actually some cheap plastic. The buttons don't really feel great, and even like with the microphone wire, it kind of sticks out, and that compartment can't be closed when the microphone wire is connected, so it just kind of sticks out a little bit. So yeah, that's the main reason why I think it's got a pretty average build quality. Now, in my opinion, this camera doesn't record very well at 4K resolution. From the example that I included, it was quite jerky, which may have something to do with the SD card, but the few videos that I've taken in other resolutions have been very clear. And finally, the last con is that the microphone battery isn't actually rechargeable. It's a small button battery, which is probably available at any sort of shop, but it's just slightly annoying that you can't recharge this battery. So now over to my overall rating. I rate the Andoer 4K camcorder a 4.5 stars out of 5. Sure, there are some limitations like the build quality, but for the price that you are getting this camcorder, I guess they have to cut some corners. So although this camera brand is relatively unknown, and many who are brand conscious, like myself previously, who opt for big brands such as Sony and Panasonic, Canon, etc., I feel this camera has a lot of the features that the more expensive counterparts have. So I do think this camera is a fantastic camcorder for people who are either tight on budget or are just starting up on YouTube like myself, or just want a camera that will do the job. So if you fall into that category, then this camera is for you. So that's my review on the Andoer 4K camcorder. So if you like this review, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out some of my other reviews and some of the other content that I have on this channel, which I've linked in the description below.